Yes. Not a question. She'll find you, right? Maybe.
All right, that's running. God, it's
Pop-ups showing up on your other thing.
thank you.
Oh, nice. Did you order one per classroom? Did I tell you ahead of time that there was one classroom that didn't have a sale? I don't remember.
If we're over, it's okay. We can
Well,
say
actually, so Magden's one of them, is one of them, so if you can just not get history, you can take punishments together. Challenge of being creative person on I miss it. Magic doggles.
Oh, yeah, it's recognizing the charge. That's good. Thank you, folks online, for being patient. I was lacking a dongle, which is sometimes sounds like a medical term. There we go.
Oh my goodness, this classroom raised me.
Okay, screen's up, power's up, meeting's going, live stream's going. Our young ones are doing fine. Distance learning next door. Welcome, everybody. This is just a sound check, mic check. How do we sound to you folks online? Thumbs up. I see a thumbs up. Great. Thank you. Let me put the video on this one also. Okay. So, welcome to our final meeting of 2022-23. And this will be a light one, relatively speaking. Let's just do quick welcome and introductions. We do have a new person in the meeting today, and I'm excited for that. So I'm going to let the new person go last as a final reveal. My name is Vipal. I am president PTO. I've got a third grader. And then why don't we start with Miss Christine?
Yeah. Christine Kennedy, the assistant principal.
Liz Thompson, and I have 2 fourth graders. I'm Robin Anderson. I have a 4th grader and a 2nd grader.
Belong.
I know. I was like thinking, like, what grade are they now? I know they won't be.
I'm Shawna Cox, I'm the 2nd grader.
My name is Kate Elwell. I use she, her pronouns. I have a 1st grader and an incoming high fiver.
My name is Diego Tapaz. I'm the principal here at Bancroft.
Eric Moore, I have a kindergartner.
And then I'm going to throw to Aaliyah online.
Hi, I'm Aaliyah. I am the mother of a 3rd grader. And that
Michelle.
was him.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I've got a 2nd grader.
All right. And then Shri.
Hi, I'm Shri. I've got a 1st grader and a high fiver.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to Bancroft PTO. So let's just cycle through our reports. Our treasury reports, you've got it there on the page, 54,391 and 16,489. let me just fire up that link real quick so that we can get that on the record of what our in and outs have been. So it looks like most of our plant sale stuff has resolved except for the return check or the incoming check, right?
From Paul's meeting?
From Paul's, yeah.
No, that's in,
Oh, it's in, it just hasn't resolved.
it's in the pending.
Yep, got it.
Yeah, but it's in the account.
Okay, great. So just, I won't go by that too quickly, but that's, that was this pending comment. So then, so that 54 would then be +5,
What do you mean?
the 50 pending, so we are 54 in our main account, not yet including the +5 from Paul's.
Well, these transactions reflect like what's on the bank account.
Yep.
But in the email that I send you, it has the balance.
It does have it.
Today,
Okay.
so it's in there.
It's in there. Great. Thank you. This is why I'm not the treasurer, because math is not my forte, or at least time-based math. We're looking at a statement of May, but we are now in June. Is that what I missed?
Well, yeah, these, when I enter, I don't want to enter things that haven't gone
Yep.
to the bank account in the transactions, because like, sometimes checks don't,
Yep.
you know, go through for a long time.
Oh, I hear you. Thank you. And then here are our outgoings. And then field trip accounts. We received on giving them another $50 donation, which will, when that resolves, we'll put it in place. But that was just last week, I believe. I got that notification. And here are our expenses. Are we all caught up with what you caught up with?
I think so. I didn't open that envelope, but I think that's the end of it, right?
I think so. I think you're gonna send me some reimbursement stuff, so, yeah.
Yeah, we're really close.
Okay. And then I'm going to add to this. I know it's not reflected because I didn't send you an email on this, but I did get the receipts from Miss Finney regarding safety patrol, and they will be carrying over $78 for next year
Okay.
of the $400 that we allocated for their play date, or not play date, their pay date fund. So, and then PTO can consider reallocating if they're interested. There, I know buses was a separate check for their Nickelodeon. What we allocated for bus was actually under, because there were an additional 2 students, I think, from the original account. So then it just came out of the 400 allocated fund. So there's that. That's on the record. And then we are looking, yep, here we are. Any questions or comments regarding our financial status? Do you have any comments you'd like to add, Liz?
Yeah, just wrapping up the year. We're almost done.
Yeah. We,
The end of the year.
it is, absolutely. And then tomorrow we start the new one. All right, great, thank you. So then going back to Robin, your update, there were some voting for expenditures. Do you want to talk about that, or?
Sure, yeah. So what happens typically in between meetings when we get a request that comes in that is needed urgently, we do an email vote kind of out to faces and email addresses that we have, not our big broad list, but just enough to get good head count of like, yes, we should spend money on it. So there's a summation there of what we recently approved.
Great, and I know Ms. Sue just stepped out, so we could follow up regarding any of those items. But yeah, and just to sort of add context to it, the email vote goes to the board positions and then the folks that kind of have active product leadership roles. Yeah, the ones who respond to my emails are the ones I send out to vote. So, and that's what Robin sort of means by that. And that gives us, upwards of 11 or 12 or so people to sort of approve these last minute expenditures. And then we report it out so that it's absolutely transparent to our full membership. Okay. Did you want to talk about Family Fun Fest since you speak? First of all, thank you, Robin, for getting that across the finish line. I thought that was a great Family Fun Fest that occurred. It certainly was a big one in terms of attendance and in terms of activity.
Yeah.
Did you have anything you want to sort of talk about or add regarding that?
No, thanks to everyone for volunteering and I'm thankful that the weather was perfection. That really worked in our favor, that it wasn't too hot.
Yep.
So yeah, thanks to everyone.
And as a note, I did want to get this in the record. We had a great headlining act, mix match. I remember not to add the conjunction. And it may not have been clear before, but we are paying that headlining act. And so they will be receiving $25 per musical member. I'm not sure what that math works out to. That's why I'm not the treasurer.
Well, I also added $25 for Joel because he did a lot of work.
Yes.
setting up them. So it was $175.
Absolutely. Yep. No, and that's money well spent.
Money well spent.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. In past years, I think we did $300 in the band. So this is a discount. And we have to provide our own sound gear.
If you need any, if you have a need for a kid band at any functions this summer, you just let us know because the band would, take on other gigs, paid or unpaid.
Yeah, and there was a lot of joy on the kids' faces when they
Yes.
opened the envelopes. We biked around. Most of the kids live on the same street we do, and they were like, couldn't believe how much money. it
Oh,
was.
good. The only thing I asked back was, did any of them do the received from PTO for services rendered? Did they do one of those?
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, no, well, no, I just like the notion of, for them, that's the closure, right? Oh, on the whole, oh, yes, we provided a service and we are being fairly compensated for it, and sort of get that whole thing.
Yeah.
But okay, good. Ms. Sue, I just wanted to ask, 5th grade promotion gifts, 5th grade exhibition expenses, and high 5K promotions. We are in a good place. There wasn't an overage. If there was an underage.
Exhibition is an underage and promotion is an overage, but not a ton.
Do they cover each other, or
Yeah.
do we need to
No,
expense again? No, okay.
we'll be okay.
Okay. And just for the sake of this PTO, and I didn't make it to this year's exhibition, was there anything you wanted to talk about from exhibition?
Well, it was amazing. Kids were so great. Lots of different topics, again, very deep, what's on the mind of 5th graders and what they want to think about. And it's an action, it's like an action research project where they choose a topic of their choice and they research it. Part of the research is interviewing an expert, somebody who works in a field or works with or runs a nonprofit or some sort of connection. And they develop an action, they implement the action, and then they report it to the community. So exhibition day is the exhibition, but exhibition is a whole process. And it's really like the summative assessment of how we're doing as an IB school. Have we, how our skills are, how we learn the learner profile, how we implement our skills and our actions, and it's wonderful. I don't know, do you want to add on anything?
No, it was just amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
the
it
kids were
always
so proud of what they were presenting, and it does take the whole school community to get it up and going and managing it, because each group has a mentor that helps them work through their interview questions for the experts, and how's your trifold going to lay out? Are you going to do a slide deck on the Promethean board? How are you going to present all of your learning? It's always one of my favorite.
Yeah.
I know it's always Sue is always super frantic and chaotic. This is never gonna happen. And then we get to the day and the kids are all perfect, and all the presentations and the parents and everyone's just so amazing. So thank you, Sue, for that too. And it's a good. Even if you don't have a 5th grader, it's sometimes good just to come and
It's really
see it. We have some of the younger kids come and partake in it. The 4th graders came this year. In years past, we've had the road show where kids will take their presentation and bring it to the classroom so the kids can see kind of what they have in store for them once they become a 5th grader.
Yeah, we had topics, we had pollution, clean water, sea turtles and pollution. It was really cute.
Gun violence.
Gun violence.
So the Latanya Black from Mothers Against Gun Black Community Gun Violence came and was the expert interview for the group. That's really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Treatment of inmates is one of them.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's really amazing what they are interested in. Yeah. So.
I'm curious, did anyone pursue the garden that got set up as a
Tried,
project?
but no,
Yep.
couldn't make it stick.
Yep.
If you'll, around the block here, our kids went out and spray painted the drains that lead to the lake. Don't blue, so if you see the spray painted drain, that was our kids. I just did that.
And then we did have
The
a,
stenciling, I was
Yeah,
like,
stenciling.
don't throw
That's
stuff.
all right, that's
Oh, they're like,
Sorry.
Minecraft was tagging, they're tagging
No, they're
the.
not taking drains.
I
They
know.
make a stencil of how we should keep pollutants
It's a
out.
little
of-
dog, yeah.
Keep the
Sorry.
pollutants out of the drains.
Good clarification.
Yeah.
All right, good, good. Any questions regarding any of that subject matter from online or in-house? All right, I was conflicted about where this slide belongs. So I'm bringing, and typically in my normal, my normal mindset, it's always the last slide because I want to get to active business. And then think about this, but I did want to load this up early in case there are anyone who's on the fence and wants a little bit of prodding so that by the end, maybe. But, and this is also for the folks that might be watching online, not via Zoom, but just through the live link. The president's position, I'll be honest, I will stay involved with PTO. I'd like to hang on to the February book drive if people would have me hang on to that, but I also want to open this up to other people. It's very important to me, the notion of other voices. And I think we have built such a strong community. I mean, the people that we send the voting email to, I mean, this is a good number of folks that are engaged. And it's great to have other voices. And I think it's important to have voices, particularly in this position, that changes, that is dynamic. And I wrote here, and I've said this many times, and this is true for a lot of the volunteer work that all of us do in our own lives, right? You bring to the position what you can. You don't bite off more than you can chew. It's the time that you can, it's the effort that you have. How do you fit it into the rest of your day? So it's not like this position is any different than any other volunteer work that we do, where all of a sudden it's all consuming. It certainly is not that. Anyone that's watching this can bring to this position, bring to the PTO the talents that they're comfortable with, the strengths that they're comfortable with. And then the rest of the PTO fills in the gaps. And that's, I think, one of the great things about you as a group is you have all filled in the gaps. That's the right word. I mean, you've done so much. And I think whoever takes this position is going to be coming into a very well-supported president or co-president or co-co-co-presidents. It's going to be split three ways as long as there's clarity. And I'm all about clarity. So I'm mentioning that now, and I'm wondering if there's anyone who has interest in this room or online for a president or co-president's position.
I'm aware of someone who was considering it, but I don't want to nominate them.
Are they in the community yet?
Sorry?
Are they part of the school community?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
part of the PTO.
Oh, well, then no. Like,
Not for-
nominations are very cutthroat. You can just throw them on the floor and we respond to them as is.
Mandy and I were talking at the plant sale and lamenting, but also completely understanding of your stepping back. And she had hinted at co-presidency, and I've said before that leadership roles are kind of my jam. Just not knowing where my job's gonna be next year is really tricky, and I don't want to overcommit, but I feel like Mandy and I work really well together, and I could imagine co-presidenting with her if she's not listening.
She's not, no, she has a,
Like volunteering her.
maybe she strategically avoided today. But
So,
I do have news to share in that regard.
okay.
And Diego, I have permission for this from her, but she took a position here.
Mandy did?
Yes, she's an AE.
Sure.
I'm not incorrect in saying that.
No, you're good. It's official.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so
Yep.
good. She's talked so highly about her
Yep.
time here. So.
And what I was excited about the notion, because I would love for more teachers to be here, because it's a parent-teacher organization. So,
Right.
and I thought, oh, maybe this could be a way of reviving that. Mandy taking on presidency or co-presidency, if this is before I knew whether or not the position was going to occur. She has stated that if the position would occur, she wouldn't take the co-presidency. Now, I'd like to maybe change her mind on that, but that is where the current sentiment is. But I think it's great that she's here, and she will be active with PTO. And one of the reasons apart from, I'm also being a little selfish and stepping back. I've taken a new job.
Oh, good for you.
So I will be transitioning. I'm leaving a job where I control my calendar. I can staff my I was a big fish, little pond, and I'm moving to a slightly bigger pond, and I'm a slightly smaller fish. So I don't necessarily I will not have the same freedoms that I've had, being able to be here till 11, get here at 2 or whatever it was, which is one of the things I'm worried about. But Mandy's here. So that's the other thing. So, but what I am hearing though from you, Shauna, is perhaps somebody here would like to nominate Shauna in a co-president position. Who would like to take that act? I shouldn't because I'm the presiding officer.
Okay, so I will share that if I manage to get a permanent job with the National Science Foundation, they have said no more remote jobs, which means I will have to travel to Alexandria once per pay period, which is every 2 weeks. And I don't know what pattern that's going to look like for my family. And so that could make our regular monthly meetings a little trickier, which is part of why I don't really feel like I could be president alone. But I also feel like completely fish out of water when it comes to all the advocacy stuff I feel like we have had on the agenda.
Yeah, no, don't feel, again, everything here is you bring what you bring. And I brought some of that, and there are others who are bringing it. And I've said this is the thing. And Diego laughs at this because I always use him as an example. Diego has a lot of grace that I lack. So they're, and so and what I mean by that is, there are others who have just this natural ability to kind of, bring people together in a way that is not a little too fisticuffy project. I have some aggression in me that I do tend to, I have to manage. So the point is, advocacy wasn't necessarily a thing on PTO back in the day when I first jumped on, that CDP became a thing. And then there was all that energy. And we rolled that energy through, and a lot of that was survival energy. Just how do we have utility to our members? How do we bring value to the conversation? How can we still be engaging when everyone is retreating? That was the role we played, was to sort of overreach and be more public advocates, because we knew everyone was sort of like, I need to sort of cocoon a little bit. And now we're coming out of that. So I think, we're seeing other people sort of rise to the occasion and bring the things to the table. So it doesn't have to be this role or specifically any of these roles, because we have, I don't know how many families, but we saw 400 people on the Blacktop at Family Fun Fest. That's what they could certainly potentially bring to the conversation.
Well,
So,
and this really is an amazing group of people. Like, I couldn't have pulled off the fun sale without the support that you guys had. So, I go home and say I became the president of PTO coordinator.
I can't get involved in domestic issues.
Or person, no, Megan's not gonna love it. It's like, why do you have to keep doing this? Like, because it's important. Ugh. Oh my goodness.
Well,
okay. Okay, V. Paul, you are a ridiculous act to follow, but I will be president next year as long as everybody has grace for the fact that.
I'll nominate.
there we go. So we've got a nomination on the floor. Great, thank you. We're still like maybe 10% Robert Rules of Order here. Yeah, so we've got a nomination, and that's fine. And again, it can be a shared thing. And I absolutely
Yeah, because
understand.
I also know Jack about Facebook is really like, I need a communications coordinator, because everything V. Paul does to like live stream this and stuff, like I know nothing. And I'm not sure I'm teachable.
I've heard all you need is an HDMI cord.
I mean, I am teachable, but I don't think I have the bandwidth to figure it out. So if somebody just points me out and says, click this and do that or whatever, but I don't use social media. So that is definitely going to be a skill I like literally lack and will need.
I think, yeah, absolutely. There, again, a lot of this can be restructured. I came out of it, like I sort of said, at a time when we were in a little survival instinct, and I absolutely, I overreached in a lot of places. And I think it's time for me to dial some of that back and give some of that, some of those roles to more hands, and we have so many more hands. So that is kind of the thing.
I think the exciting part too is that we're adding 125 new students in the fall, and so with High Five in kindergarten. And I remember a couple, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, our first PTO/site council meeting, and this room was completely full.
45 people or something.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wow. And it was all, VPAL and incoming parents that were starting in kindergarten, they're starting in first grade. And so I think there may be someone else who steps in and it's their jam and wants to co-lead and do some things. So I think that's the other unknown right now, is we can have more folks who want to step in and step up and do the thing.
Yeah, I think that a lot of these leadership positions are often well suited to like 3 people, because you kind of need like the organizer skill set and the stakeholder engagement skill set and the, kind of having some idea of what's going on skill set, something like that, because it's hard to do all of those things all at once at this age. Once upon a time, I could.
I do want to reach out online. Shri, you reached out by email saying you wanted to volunteer more and become involved, and I'm so very happy to see you in the online. Did you have an interest as well? Is that one of the reasons I reached out?
Oh, sorry. Hi, sorry. Trying to see can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. We got you.
Yeah, I mean, whatever y'all need, I'm happy to lend a hand. If it works, I'm kind of I'm very technologically maladroit, so I apologize. Yeah, so I think that's I'm here. We might be. The only big thing is that we're traveling sort of overseas in December, but that's I imagine that is probably not too big of a deal. But I didn't. If I'm being perfect, I didn't really have anything in mind. I'm just here to kind of help however you need, especially if you need sort of physical labor. More than happy to lend that, and as long as I can bring my 2 kids with me, they kind of attached to the hip. So, yeah. I'm sorry, I missed. I might have missed the first part of your question. If there was a direct one, because I just heard my name and I kind of was trying to figure that out.
I think you covered it. It was mostly
Okay.
what brought you to the inbox, or however it was that you communicated with me, Paul, and how can we help you make that dream a reality?
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that and I promised my kids that I would say that, but if there's any way in which they can have more playtime, I don't know if that's at all possible, but so I told them that I would say that. Yeah, apart from that. During the day, by the way, I had a horrible time this morning getting my daughter to convince her to come to school today.
It was hard this last week. My kid accidentally got enrolled in swim camp every morning for this week and next week. So he's missing every morning this week. But accidentally, I just mean not looking at the calendar.
We're navigating a little bit of the pizza order here, so I know Paul is stepping out to manage that, so I'm just gonna check.
See, I was just thinking, I was like, oh my God, pizza order.
I'm gonna look at the next slide and see if we should switch gears a little bit and then jump back to the president, co-president conversation. Does that sound cool?
Yeah.
Shauna, do you want to talk about the plant sale
Yes.
recap?
Plant sale recap. I no longer have all the numbers in my head, but it was amazing. We exceeded our sales from last year. I think there's some opportunity to potentially both expand our, oh, look, there are the numbers. Expand our strategy, in that our single largest sale was a kiddo whose parents work for like a real estate LLC. And they asked the owner to buy all of their plants from us. And so I talked to her when we were trying to make arrangements for this huge order to go out the door. And, we, as long as they continue working there, the plan is to do that again next year, which is pretty exciting. And then we also had a kiddo who made I don't know, a dozen sales or something kind of insane. So I think acknowledging someone who manages to do a lot of smaller sales would be kind of nice. But it did give me the idea of Dairy Queen and Tiny Diner and Reverie, if they have any shade spots or whatnot, to just talk to them and see, they have to buy their plants somewhere. And let them know that this happens and see if they want to support the school in the neighborhood, which can sometimes be a nice thing. But we can potentially also plant different ideas in our kids' heads. Now, I'm gonna actually have to learn everyone's names. I'm sorry. Eric did point out we're not exactly hurting. We did really well in terms of sales, so it's not like we necessarily have to do all of any of these things for that matter. But I just saw those as potentials. And during the plant sale itself, we spent quite a bit of time talking about pros and cons of a few different modifications to next year. And I think one big one that both Mandy and I, now having experienced the trauma 2 years in a row of not having all the right plant within, I really want to work with the school to figure out how we can pick all the orders before anyone touches anything, so that every order is filled and we get to the end of 150 order forms and we know what we should or shouldn't have, because Paul's was dead on. There was one cucumber plant missing. But by the end, it was a little messy. I also I now realize that there are things we can do in the order to make it all a little bit easier. Pretty much there's one of everything or one of anything. There's not going to be multiple colors of the same thing, because it increases the chance of mispicking. And we had coleuses in the 6-pack and coleuses in the little pot, and it was too much. And I just don't think it's necessary. So I'd like to get away from the dual copy paper, the order forms, because they're quite expensive. It costs about $1,000 in printables and stuff to actually post the sale, and I feel like that eats into our profits a little bit. So that would probably be one of my main goals for next year if I do the plant sale again, which I would hope to, is to think strategically about how we can still serve our community and our community's needs, but also be a little bit more conservative on some of our costs in that regard. And some of that will probably involve me not waiting until the last possible minute to get anything to the school to actually be printed there, which couldn't happen because I had problems, but no problems. Those problems will not recur. But yeah, and I just went through the thank you to Robin for getting the top seller rewards. I had not taken into account / noticed that there were 2 ties, and there was 1 classroom that had no sales. So everything will be okay as long as Magden doesn't get his book tomorrow. The count will work. There's a tie in upper and lower, and Magden, I will prepare him tonight for the fact he will get his book at a later date. So.
And just to be clear, regarding that, we are distributing Shannon's and Monica's new books.
Yeah.
Monica's to the lower grades and Shannon's to the upper grades.
Are you distributing those tomorrow or?
I
Okay.
don't know how they're being distributed.
Okay,
actually.
I think we need to figure that out before we leave.
Yeah, okay, what, we have, they're on site, right?
Yeah, they're right here.
Yeah.
Right there, I have a list. Someone had said they're being distributed tomorrow, which implied to me that.
Well, I just think if there's only 3 days left, so I'm like.
No, it's gotta be in there somewhere.
Yes,
No, I
okay.
just.
We'll figure it out.
Wasn't sure
Yeah.
if there was a plan.
Well, I guess the question is, I mean, the
How does
low,
that usually work?
well, there isn't a usually necessarily, but the easiest way of doing it is dropping it in the teacher's boxes with a little note.
Okay.
The nicer way of doing it would be if someone from our group did a presentation, like, congratulations. But that doesn't have to happen, so that can't happen. So, I mean, those are the two
Okay.
ways that this would occur.
I wasn't sure if it was something that got like announced in the morning announcements, congratulations.
But that absolutely is, that's the way we've done it, but we've written, it was something that was written, the readathons, that's how readathons.
I have a lot of ghostwriters. I don't want to go through my own.
I could ghostwrite something, but it would probably not be more exciting than congratulations to these children and
You
those
can
children.
ghostwrite it, but Sue knows that I will ad lib
Yeah.
the heck out
So,
of whatever.
so I was like, I trust you
I might be a
entirely.
ghostwriter.
Yeah, I trust you entirely to take a list of kids and acknowledge them selling
Yep.
most in their classrooms.
Yep, I would just obviously need the list. and
Yeah.
What they're getting and why they got it, whether it was most sales or most
It
money
was
raised
the
or whatever.
highest amount in their classrooms,
Okay.
writing that on there.
That's not a problem.
Okay.
Amount of money or amount of plan.
Dollar value, yeah, because the number of plants isn't a way to do it too.
And then my other reaction would be, we don't, just to get it on the record, we could consider, and Diego or Sue, you might know if there's a history of why we have been with Powell's for so long. We could consider another vendor that does it online.
No, I'm not, no, please no. No, they're amazing, and, I feel like if we did that, we would just be like resetting ourselves to so much additional possible pain.
I think a lot of kids get joy out of the paper form too.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
bring it
I
around to their
think-
grandparents and stuff and like.
So here's a
No,
question,
I think
Seward,
having a paper form is really important,
Mhm.
but I don't necessarily think it has to be the duplicate.
Seward does it online. And in fact, we had a couple of their parents come here because they thought they bought it from here. but it was from Seward. So I'm not really sure how that happened. It's a household, I think. But anyway, the Cub Scouts that we're a part of, ours are online also. I mean, they do have the paper forms, but they go with a vendor that has an online and that has managed to do you want a specific subset, here's your specific subset, and here's the online portal to make that happen. But yeah, absolutely.
I feel like the physical pieces of paper are really important to the kids, yes, but to the process, that having to look, have it on a computer or a tablet or something as you're picking them, like having that physical list of something is actually really helpful. And I think that we've talked about this before. It would be great if we could take money digitally, but then the liability is then we have to match the money digitally to each order. So, there's pros and cons to just about everything. And I will put together a strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges analysis, a SWOT analysis of these things, so that we can, as a group, figure it out. But I have to say, I would not want to do it again if I have to work with another vendor. Like, I can't wait to go down to Paul's and meet them, because we're like this by the end of it. And like that kind of relationship is really, I feel like that's an important part of doing these sorts of things. And damn it, we just got it like that.
How do you see it working if we were taking online their money digitally, not through the vendor? How would that?
So I think it would have to be a matter of like paper form. You have to match the total amount on the paper form to a transaction.
With the
Where, or how does the?
But yeah, well,
Why
that's,
this
that's
is
really the thing.
No,
like,
yeah,
we,
I'm sorry,
Paul
yeah,
has
we-
said
no.
that we really can't do a lot.
Well,
of
we can, but what the road that we're about to walk down is two independent systems that would not be well suited for this effort. It needs to be a portal that talks directly to their database, and then it can spit out a report, and there is no matching of transaction. It's literally the portal does the work for us. If we had to build our own storefront and then match it to something else, yeah, that would, I mean, we can't even match,
No,
we can't
so
even
I
match
was-
t-shirts that way.
I was thinking more along the lines of, they still fill out the form, and instead of check or cash, it's check or cash or donation online.
No, I mean, not at the scale, it's not at the scale that we're moving, that could be managed then.
We don't have anything, do we, right now?
Well, we have to give them in, and certainly PTO could look at, re-upping a square, creating, I mean, the thing is, it's tied to a person and typically tied to the treasurer. So every time that position vacates, you gotta redo the account. It's one of the reasons, one of the reasons why we don't have one, because, we want to accommodate turnaround and we don't want to have to be locked. I mean, we're still using Nicole's account on a couple of things. Our square actually is literally still Nicole. which is-
Yeah, I'm fine with sticking with cash and check.
Yeah, I mean, and
I
we don't
think
have
it
to
just needs
answer
to
this now.
Yeah, I think in the interest of time,
Yeah.
we should eat some food and then do principals update.
But, yeah, absolutely. Were there any other comments regarding, I mean, this is great. So we're moving forward on prizes. We had a banner year. This is actually, the highest in, since even pre-COVID, 13 something. Is that a fair statement to make? Yeah,
We were about 1,000 over last year.
yeah.
In terms of total sales, which translates into a fraction of that is.
Yep. So this is good. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm really glad it works out that way. And we learned a lot. And I know the logistics of space are the hardest thing about picking all the orders. But we'll start thinking early.
Yeah, I think utilizing that hallway by the dish station and the art and music hallway, I mean, that works instead of bringing it all into the cafeteria.
Oh, yeah, no, never going back to whatever that was, but when you pick the orders, the space that those orders take up is a lot greater than, the individual. So I feel like we might need some extra space.
Yeah, and I think we've got, 10 months?
Yep.
We've got 8 months of discussion and then 2.5 months of execution. So we'll get there.
Yeah, no, and we're not gonna spend 10 months.
Yeah. All right, why don't we,
We might.
grab a bite and we'll come back to Diego. Your principal's update.
That's the end of the year. I've got nothing. I have a few updates.
Diego's like, peace out, I'm
Yeah.
off duty.
Yeah, so grab a bite. We're gonna, just real quick, and then we're gonna continue on for the online folks. I do have a question. Is the school shutting down over this time?
Nope.
So they're just activity or?
Nope. There's no summer programming that's happening here this year. I'm here until the 30th of June.
Okay.
The building not open, but our engineers are here all summer long. Oh, I'm back on, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have meetings earlier hours. Yep. But we have engineers here all the time. So they're here all along, 6 a.m. Yeah.
Where are we going? Oh, school nursing. Yeah, so it'll be directly with them.
Sorry, I didn't hear you while we were starting.
I'm excited. It'll be a stretch for me. I'm leaving
Okay, what
ED.
do you
So,
do?
well, I'm now a course scheduler and so I'm going to be supporting the new, price scheme, some programming in school nursing and that's
Our work might overlap because I'm doing a project right now to reduce the number of classes that start with work.
Oh, really?
Because we looked at the data,
Yeah.
office of institutional research and showed that there's a disproportionate number of seats available compared to demand.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that would be great. I mean, did you look at our room?
No.
It's,
Look, it's moving in general.
so it's 22 data. Any class that is more than one sitting. How it will.
Oh, I see.
12:30 on Friday for a presentation.
What's the timeline on the application?
It's really interesting. When I was undergrad at the University of Manitoba,
Yeah.
Next June?
8:30.
No, no, just you.
It started at 8:30.
Well,
Part of my schedule. And then I went to Oregon State. They started at 8 a.m. We didn't have a choice, but like you're talking about the ones where there's multiple questions. you choose from.
And I think city students have different.
Make sure we had enough people.
But do they expect us to somehow manage to cram it all in 4.5 hours in the middle of the day so they can go home at 4 o'clock? Or
6 hours though.
6 hours?
Well, and it's,
Yeah.
some of it's an equity concern because students who come from higher rates. Get lower hours.
Oh, yes.
So if you have a teacher,
So they,
your first one, and you get your 11 in classes. And then you go from the 0 if you are.
Yeah, yeah, the American enrollment window is not really optimal.
Yeah, and it logically makes sense because if you have more credits, you need to, you're close for graduation. Yeah, make sure you get the right spot. You get an overtime, right?
I love these.
Oh.
Yes, yeah, yep, no.
Yeah.
People, will you work with Catherine Schwartz?
Is that the new person?
I don't know, she's,
Yeah.
she left school for health.
What was that?
She was actually gonna be
No.
moving to Oxford. There.
Oh, great.
So it's her graduation party.
I was gonna have to use a lot.
Yep. And now we should be moving here, and also be like, oh, see them more.
You gotta make that sales person.
And if you've been like an investigator, because you know everything.
Right, yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you work in something?
There's degrees and
No, I work in
research.
private clinics.
Fine.
Oh, yeah. Are you with you? Yeah. Oh, were you?
I work in the clinical counseling. Yeah, so it's 6 hours
Yeah.
on the clock for.
Which
2.5
building?
hours
Is
at
that-
the party. Oh, we're in like fifth building.
Okay.
And all our outpatients.
I'm feeling for like 140.
Oh, gosh.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
I'm like.
I'm trying to place you because I like this CTSI. Why do I get your email?
Yeah. That's the biggest thing I've ever read. And you work in like the executive?
No, I work at the student clinic. I'm a public health practitioner for students. So I do mental health.
It's gonna be great.
Oh.
She'll get a break from the dorms.
I used to, I used to
know,
be with
right?
them at like,
But we
so
make
maybe
it
even
season
We have education. Education.
Yeah, totally.
All right.
We had a good score. We have.
We still don't know yet.
It's a good score.
Should I bring us back?
Yeah.
Okay. Your mouth full, Diego?
Be quick.
Yeah.
Short mouth inside.
Go for it.
All right, well, principals updates. We've come to the end of another school year. We have 3 days left, and so thank you all for your support and for your trust and for sending your kids to us. They are all absolutely amazing. We try to fit in, I think, everything into the last 3 weeks of school, and so it's been a really crazy, hectic time of learning, time of fun. I mean, even last week on Wednesday, I think we had 5 or 6 things happening. We had 2 grade levels going on field trips. We had one walking down to the park. We had exhibition happening. We had second grade market day happening. So we just had, and let's just do everything at the exact same time. And so it is just a fun time to have all of our learning come to a culminating peak. And like we said with exhibition, second graders had market day, which was super cool, learning about goods and services. They created their own goods to sell to the first graders that came to buy their goods. They also had services. You could do a workout, you could do dance lessons, you can get your health checkup. And so there's just a lot of really fun things that the kids were doing in second grade. And then, like I said, exhibition. We also had field day last week, which was super awesome. The kids were really good sports. The weather was almost perfect. Nice breeze over there at the park. So there's a lot of fun things there. Oh yeah, we had Family Fun Fest on Wednesday too. I forgot we added that thing in there too.
More things.
Just a few things that were happening that day. And then this week, tomorrow, we have a Scholastic book giveaway. And so Scholastic has partnered with MPS to make sure that every student in pre-K through sixth grade gets some books for summer reading.
Awesome, nice.
And so tomorrow, everyone will go through our stage and they get a pack of 6 books from Scholastic, a little drawstring bag that they can put them in, and then they'll get a summer challenge reading card. And so they have the challenges to read all the books that they get and then return that to their teacher in the fall. And then they'll be submitted into a drawing. And so there's some big prizes throughout the district. I think there's like 20 classrooms might get a new library, depending on, this drawing, and kids might get some other prizes. So I could really care less about the prizes. It's just like, let's get kids reading. And so to me, that's the exciting part. And that's why we always have the book giveaways at every event that we do here at Bancroft. So that's something that's happening tomorrow. Third grade has their folktale festival coming, so they've all been writing their own folktales. And so that will be on Wednesday. They'll share those with their families and whoever comes to visit for that. We have our kindergarten and fifth grade promotion. And that's happening on the last day of school on Thursday. That's always a big passage event for our fifth graders. And our first kindergarten one was last year, so this will be like the second annual kindergarten promotion. But it's always taken on a really big significance for our fifth graders that are moving on to middle school. And my own daughter just finished fifth grade last week, and so I went to her promotion last week. So that was, I didn't get any pointers. I like how ours goes, and so no offense to her school, but so I know what it's like to have a fifth grader that's moving to middle school and all the feelings that can come up and happen. And then aside from that, this is a really busy time of year also just for hiring. We do have a handful of positions that are still available. I mentioned Mandy. She'll be a high five AE next year, so I'm really excited to have her join us. We also hired another high five AE, Sasha Bloomquist, who used to have a student here at Bancroft. And so that's an exciting piece too. We hired through April and through now, we have 2 new classroom teachers. So Miss Amy Vanderlyn will be joining the third grade team. We're adding a third grade section. Ms. Rainey Leisher will be a fifth grade teacher because we created a new position for Ms. Hartman, or created a new position, and Ms. Hartman's taking that position for the advanced learner telescope math teacher. So she'll be doing full-time advanced learner education. We have 2 new EL teachers that are starting, Ms. Emma Sigler and Ms. Melissa Lowell. So a lot of people there. Licensed staff.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we still have 3 licensed positions open. So we have a world language Spanish position will be open again. Ms. Holly was in that role this year, and she's moving to a different district to not be a Spanish teacher. And then we have another media position that will be Barb. Ms. Warner will still be here. We're adding another specialist. We have a media position. And then our third one interventionist. So we had hired somebody we have the 2 intervention teacher positions. We filled them both. And then just 3 weeks ago, one of the people that we hired said that she was moving to a different district also. And so we have that position open again. And those all have been posted externally now as well. And so that'll just keep me busy probably through us busy through the end of June. We're also still looking for a secretary. So if you know anybody, we've had a couple of interviews, but it is a very important position to have filled. As I have found out too, in this end of the year, I have a finance closeout meeting and student accounting meetings, and we're trying to figure it all out on how to do all those things here without Fabiola. And so we really need that position to be filled. So yeah, but I just want to say thanks to all the parents and caregivers and to the kids for being pretty awesome, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of you and all of them. So that's all my updates, I think.
I would say encourage yourselves and other parents to check out the Lost and Found.
I was really pushing that at Family Fun Fest, but I don't think
getting
they're
things cooler morning, have more stuff.
Ugh.
So just check it out every day. Just make sure that
What happens at the end?
we will donate
Okay.
clothes that are left
Cool.
over. Yeah.
Our prescription glasses in that pile.
We have prescription glasses in the office.
They're usually not in that file.
I have a pair that's missing.
Yeah.
My
These
child.
come, if it's not in the office, we have a special box. It's been
Great.
collecting dust with a lot of glasses, so. Yeah.
Is, you know how we hold some items in nursing office as just backup? Would some of that fill in or?
Yeah, Tess is
Yeah,
gonna
Tess is
help
working on
with
it.
the
Yeah.
cleaning up of the
All right.
lost and found. So.
All right, great. Cool. Any questions regarding the updates from online or in-house?
Thank you, staff, and I hope you get a nice break with lots of days where you don't have to come to the building.
Once July hits, we will. Well,
Yes,
we will.
that's good.
Yeah.
All right, we did that. Aaliyah, are you still on?
She took off, but she texted me.
Oh, okay. So, what did you text?
She just said, that she had to drop off early. She's needing sleep. She said that she's connected with you and Michelle. And Michelle is still working to get some of the products on the online storefront, but they're at a good point to get something into communication with parents before the end of the year. And that more products then could be added once they figure them out. So she's gonna follow up with you, Paul and Michelle, to really get that out the door.
Yep.
She has already. She just CC'd me. Oh, are you gonna pull it up, Paul? She just CC'd me. It's basically done. The only question is, we wanted to have a blue zip up sweatshirt and a yellow zip up sweatshirt. And we can't have both. There's a weird thing where we can't have 2 of the same product with 2 different logos. And then we want to have one blue zip up sweatshirt with the Bulldog logo and one with the Bancroft logo. So anyway, Aaliyah looped me in with somebody at the Squad Locker company. Hopefully they can answer the question. Otherwise, it's basically ready to go. I think the question is just how do we want to publicize it?
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to make a newsletter to go out? Do we want to just email it? What's the best way to publicize it to people? And you've got it up, Paul, so I'll let you.
Yep.
show
So
it.
let's tackle that portion right away regarding communication. Is there a final handout yet due, or do you have a family email scheduled?
Email that's gonna go out on a.
Okay, that's totally fine. So I think we'll try to. When are you going to put that out? Thursday or Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Okay, so we're going to try to get something to you tomorrow.
And
For
then
the
we could
Wednesday.
put it on the website too.
We could absolutely.
Yeah.
The thing is, we got to drive it
Yep.
to the full membership, which is truly only Diego's
Yep.
list. So yeah, no, absolutely. And then I know we had talked Custom Ink, and we were fully transparent about this. We had talked about Custom Ink as being this vendor, except we sort of found out late in the game that Custom Ink, we don't qualify for the online store type thing. We need to do something like $5,000 annually in sales in order to qualify for just an open storefront. Then Custom Ink, what we normally did was a 3-week window order, then everything got sold. We found this vendor that you order, it goes. One of the driving factors about this is, if you'll notice, we do have some t-shirts or a few t-shirts that are, we had $15 t-shirts, $35 sweaters prior. And we knew that moving into this mode of sale, prices would go up. And so this was one of the lower ones. We're not marking up at anything. So this is pretty much just storefront prices in order to keep them low at this point. Now, future PTOs certainly can make a change there, but we do have under $25 t-shirts and a couple options for $35 sweatshirt. So that kind of worked out nicely, because then it wasn't too far afield from what we have historically done. But then you'll notice, because these are all one-offs, right? $52. I mean, now we're into almost normal retail price for some of these things. But again, we, as a PTO, we did a great job with we have a process to do a bulk order. I think we've always had a process. I think we improved on that process this year, and we could do one big bulk order thing, and this is still going to be the existing. So all the price points are going to sort of be met.
Yeah. And sorry, can I bump in for 1 second?
Yeah.
If they get back to us on that Gildan Adult Heavy Blend hoodie that's $40, if they let us do the same product in different colors, then that blue one will be that's one of the reasons why we want to do that, is because the Gildan stuff is the lower price point. Yeah. And so if we don't have to duplicate, then we'll have the lower price point.
Okay.
So hopefully there will not be a $52.82 a hoodie for $52.82 on there. Hopefully there'll be less.
Yeah. Okay. So at what point, when will this, I don't know if you can see my mouse, Michelle, a store is temporarily closed for artwork processing. When do you think that hold will go off? Is that just a matter of letting them know we want to go public?
I don't know. I'm not seeing that on my end, which is odd. So
I'm not logged in, so I'm seeing it as a customer right now, as opposed to.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's actually a question for the person that Aaliyah put me in touch with. So that's a really good question, because it was saying that when the artwork wasn't working, so I had to redo a bunch of the artwork to get it to actually upload and show up. And it looks like it's all showing up, I think. Is there anything that's still showing up without artwork on your end? Because for me, it's all showing up, but it seems like it's looking different on your end.
Yeah, I'm like, for example, what that hold is doing is it's giving this not available to purchase block over here, but we see the artwork. So I think it's something that's account wide rather than per product.
Yeah, and that's probably an Aaliyah question, because I'm just making stuff look pretty, and I don't the back end stuff.
That's what my wife says about me. I just make stuff look pretty.
Yeah. So I mean, I can just make a quick one sheet with just some of the designs being like, go online to purchase these. It'll be available soon. The problem is I don't know if we have a date when that's going to be available.
What do you mean? The delivery or the?
No, just if people go on, let's say we do a newsletter, I throw together a quick one sheet tonight to send to Diego to send out. Well, that's great, except I don't know when that site is going to be live. If somebody goes on the site in 2 days, they may not be able to purchase anything.
Well, I think and maybe we'll take this discussion offline, but it needs to be live tomorrow before we can announce. We can't announce with it not live. So.
Exactly. And it may, I don't know when they're around or when they're going to get back to us.
Yeah.
So
we'll get to that.
let's take this online. Let's you, Aaliyah, and I touch base tonight or tomorrow morning.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thanks.
Any questions though regarding this development?
Can't wait. Good job. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Hope they look good.
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's wrap. Kate.
No updates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
So what that was the safe routes to school grant that we have pending that went in, and it was a great application. I don't think we discussed it. I mean, because it was due after our last meeting, and it was a strong application, And I'm feeling good about it. I know you were. Do you have any comments you want to say about the process or that?
That is so like far in the past. I don't know when it was submitted. It was submitted on time. We
Yeah.
got all the letters we wanted.
We were a day early. We were a day early.
Exactly,
We
yeah.
submitted a day early.
Yep.
I
feel good about it. It was
Yeah.
a team effort. We've got great, trying to think, we've got a Minneapolis Public Schools person on board, Bancroft, of course, our local council people, our local Board of Ed people. I'm trying to think of anybody else. The Bancroft Neighborhood Association.
Mhm.
As well. So
And they've been great. B&A has been great trying to support the stuff that we do with writing stop signs, and they talked about it in their meeting. So I think it's been great.
here by June 30th is the goal, but we'll see when that really happens. Cool.
All right. So let's take us back to, and you too. Here.
Oh, I'm gonna pull it back for a second.
Yes.
If we are funded, how do people feel about a grad student to help implement?
How much will that cost?
$0.
Okay. Then I feel great.
Because it's a 2-year grant, so it would start September and then run out in 2 Junes. That's the length of a public health degree. And we wrote the grant to say that we estimate it will take about 30 hours per month of work to implement. So it would be great to have a grad student.
Yeah.
It would be in kind or from PTO funds, but not from the grant itself.
Yeah, and I guess I think that's a conversation to be had at the time of arriving
Yes,
at the
I
bridge.
will keep my
Yeah.
feelers out for stuff because we would want an incoming person and keep the same person for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Okay. So we have a pending nomination, Shauna, and this is for, this is a shared position. Shauna, is that a correct statement?
That is my preferred.
Yeah, yeah.
I will hold the position. It sounds so like, no, I will be the single president if nobody else will be co-president with me, but I would prefer to have a co-president.
Okay.
Or at least a very strong communications person.
Well, I think the great thing is we have Michelle and we have Tana.
Yep.
And so it's just a matter of distributing the load, as it were. Anyone else have anything else to add before we call a vote on that?
Can I just say thank you, Meatball?
Yeah.
For all the work that you've done the last 3-4 years here at Bancroft and the advocacy that you brought and like the just constant support and being part of our online open houses and sharing all of the positive things that you've experienced here at Bancroft and our video that's on our webpage and all the things that you've done to support our school. I just want to say thank you for that because I think definitely the PTO has come a long ways and I think you're a main reason why.
Online applause.
Yeah, no, thank, those are kind words, Dave. Thank you very much. I still have 2 years in, my son has 2 years in him. So I hope to still do some of that stuff. You know, it's just on a different timeline, that's all.
Mhm.
Yep.
And so, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to his exhibition and maybe there'll be a video coming out of that. We have a pending project still that's going to be left undone here unless it gets picked up by PTO next year, the gym audio project that I really wish I could have brought over the finish line, but I just couldn't get that done. But, that's certainly a thing. So, yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. And I have zero negative things to say about this whole experience and working with this group, working with the previous group. I mean, I have seen a growth that I think is just great. And it just bodes so well for because this is, staff is forever. We're the ones that roll through. So I think it just kind of bodes great for whatever is coming up in the next 5-year cycle, But good, thank you. So having said that, I'm calling the vote on approving Shauna as our president/co-president of the Opportunity Arises. And what that would mean is certainly at the first PTO meeting when we call selection for our incoming open positions, that's a different set. There could be a call for a co-president there among maybe the new families, or if somebody here decides over summer.
Actually, can I amend? The idea of working with somebody I don't know is much more stressful than just being president by myself. And so I would say, I would like to co-president with Mandy if we can convince her to, or anyone else who's currently, actively involved. I feel
Well,
like I would work.
I don't know, this isn't a contractual thing necessarily. I don't know if we could work that kind of stuff into the vote, but again, it's making the assumption that this vote passes, you're presiding officer at that point, so you certainly could create the questions. I mean, the reason I don't vote is because I'm creating the questions, and there's bias there, so.
No, and if I were making the case to Mandy, the question is, what's the rationale? And if it's workload, okay. If it's, conflict of interest, I think we'd be okay with that.
I don't think there would be any. This recording's gonna be great. Man's like, what? We're discussing my.
Mandy, we're recording your future right here.
Yeah, but I think what we can tackle, and I think what would be appropriate for us to tackle is giving a yes or a no up down vote on you assuming the position. How that rolls down the road.
Okay.
Like I said, if it goes to a co-presidency or not, that door is always open or closed as it may be. So
Okay.
that could be taken care of in the future, but I don't think we can tie that into the today.
No, that's fine. So
Yeah.
you can vote on me being the next president, and I will figure out whether I need or can wrangle it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the beauty of this. So I'm calling the question, the vote to approve Shauna as incoming president of PTO for 2023-24. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All against, nay. 1 for yes, 2 for no online.
I've never been so reluctant to take a leadership position before. I love leading. It's like one of my happy places. It's really great.
I think, well, first of all, the motion carries. So
Yeah.
congratulations, Shauna. On becoming president. And again, like I've said, and I said today, you
It
are
won't be
a
the same,
great batch
but
of
it will
people.
still be something.
Yes, so you've got a lot of support.
Yep.
And you're moving into this role with a lot of momentum. So I think that kind of helps. And I was trying to do the math, but I think with the people that we have on board, we have 14 years of experience when I start to do people's math on their PTO service. So yeah, and I am going to hit you up to be the
And
book
I
drive
am
person.
going to call you past president for the next year.
If anyone ever watched Judge Dredd, the Sylvester Stallone version, remember when the leader guy, he's leaving position, he's being retired. That's how he saves Judge Dredd's life in this thing to prevent him from being arrested. And he's sent out into the world to bring the law to the lawless. I feel like now that this is official, I have a little bit more of an ability to do some other projects that we could bring here. So this is great. Anyway, does anybody have any new business? I did want to just sort of point out from a PTO standpoint, and just publicly there, PTO should probably want to arrange for 2 meetings over the summer, because the first thing to do is play dates in August and determining budget. And so that's something just on your own calendar. It's just gonna be my first summer without having to do that.
Yeah, hand over the reins to the email address.
Yes, yep, all the passcodes, absolutely. And then I will help out with the technology part. Anyway, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. Thank you very much. This has been such a wonderful year. I'm saying this online. I'm saying this for the folks who watch, the 12 of you who still watch it, the recordings after the fact. Such a solid year. So many positive things. So many more relationships. And so, yeah, I just want to echo, all the sentimentality, I guess, staff has about how strong of a year this has been. This has been good. So thank you very much for all your effort. Thank you very much for all your engagement and your attention. Thank you for reading my emails. And we will see you all next year.
Or in July and August. Enough on the PTO that you count as being at a PTO meeting to plan next year.
All right.
Don't think you're getting away.
Thank you, Shri, for making it to the meeting. And continue to email and we'll find projects or other ways for you to be more specifically involved over the summer if you're interested, if you've got the time. We would love to take you on as someone.
Yeah, you got it. Cheers, well, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
It doesn't have to be now.
All right, Michelle, we'll see you later. We'll talk about offline. We'll talk about the shirt.
So,
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Thanks.